Hey, hello everyone. Hopefully this isn't going to be a long video. I want to make it like as short as can, so if someone's like trying to play jungle and they're kind of newish to the game or like doesn't know exactly what starters to build, or getting into conquest, this would be like a short video that kind of explains which starter you go for, and then maybe I'll get more into details in other videos like in specific characters and stuff. But so there's three starter items in Smite that you can buy right now. This is mainly for physicals. I mean, there's the only three you can buy in general for physicals and magicals, but I'm gonna specifically talk about physicals here because I think they're just more suited in jungle. I'll explain like the couple magical gods that can play and what starter you want to go on them. But let's get into it. Okay, so ignore Odin. This is just like any physical god. I'll explain when you would go this and when you go this. So you have three options: Boombas, Eye of the Jungle, and Mannequin. I guess we can rank them and stuff. Like, what's the best one early game if you're trying to kill people? It's Mannequin because it has like the extra damage on the dots. It gives you some decent damage. Like the physical protection as well is pretty good if you're trying to brawl early. And then Eye of the Jungle. Eye of the Jungle is the one kind of in between Mannequins. I would say so. Brumbus has the best sustain. Mannequin has the best early game damage. And Eye is like in between. It's not the best at sustain. It's not the best at damage, but it's kind of good at both because you have the passive sustain. You just get HP5 and MP5 in the jungle, and you get power and attack speed. That's the only one that gives both power and attack speed. While Mannequins just gives power and some prots, while Brumbus gives HP mana. And this patch it does not, but next patch it will give power. And then I'm just gonna say I think Brumbus will be the best next patch, but we can talk about that like when the patch comes out because I haven't tried it yet. So like Brumbus is the best at sustain. It's the safest option. If you're like a new guy jungling, like you just try and jungle out at the start and stuff, I would recommend just going Brumbus every game. Honestly, I don't care on what character, especially if you're new to the game or new to Conquest. Just go Brumbus. You'll have a easier time farming and stuff. If But there is some characters that use Mannequin better, and some characters use Eye better. Obviously, what you want to think about, these are obviously starter items. I don't see there is nothing wrong. Just gonna put that out there. There's nothing wrong with building the starter and selling it. I think it's a waste. Obviously, I think you should try to finish the starter because starter items are really good. Like all of these are really good. They're really cheap. You only need like 1,500 gold to finish the item. You can always finish it and then sell it later if the game's going long enough and you feel like I don't really want like Protector of the Jungle and I want to like get something else. Then you can do that. But you should obviously always be thinking about like there's some starters are really like make a character late game like not like make, but like they just make them a lot better. Like Loki with Hidden Blade is so much better than Loki with like Eye of the Jungle or Sea of the Jungle or Brumbus Speed. Like it makes him a lot better to have that Hidden Blade. So sure, you're gonna suffer in the early game a bit. Like it's not like you're like really that bad, but you will be getting like a lot more. You're gonna be going out of mana a lot. You're gonna be lower a lot if you're not really careful. So I wouldn't recommend anyone like if you're playing Loki and you're not really like a practice jungler, don't go Mannequin, just go Brumbas and because he's very mana hungry, Same with Kali. Kali would be like any god that has a good auto attack chain is better with Mannequin. Like what I mean by good auto attack chain, because that might not make sense, is someone who has uh like they auto attack a lot, but they don't do that much damage with each auto. So for example, let's see Odin, right? You go to stats, you look at the progression, the auto attack progression, 1.5. Okay, I don't know what that was. Never heard that before. But that's not a good auto attack chain for Mannequins. You want to auto like Kali, for example. You want to be like Kali or Erlang or Amaterasu or Osiris. You want to have like there's a lot of 0.75 and some 0.5, some 0.8. So you don't want it to be. You don't want big auto attacks. You want a small ones to stack that Mannequins more. It's the same similar thing if you go in like a Kins or Oboe. You want to have that auto attack chain. You don't want to have like you're not gonna go Oboe and Kins on Odin or Guan Yu, because they have like bad auto attack chains for that. That makes sense. Because I say that a lot. I don't know if that makes sense to some people. Hopefully it does now. So Mannequins is better on a god like Kali, on a god like Erlang, on a god like Osiris for these reasons. The reason everyone was building Mannequins lately, if you watch his spells, just because it was so much better than the other ones. But the other ones have got buffs, so I think it's kind of being put in line now. So I would say I personally would only go Mannequins on like 4 or 5 characters like Osiris. Even then, I would rather go Brumpus now for the late game. But Osiris, Erlang, Kali, Ao Kwang, which might come as a surprise maybe. And I don't know who. I guess it's only for maybe Arachne, but Arachne would also do well with Eye. So it's really up to you. You can technically go Mannequins on anyone. Like and I say that it's really good for killing Scorpion, but I don't think people really care about that in the casual level. You just kill Scorpions really fast, so I would say usually just go Burbus. Let's just talk about the upgrades for now. I don't want to make this video too long. I want to try to end it soon. Bumba's Hammer is like the easiest to use late game and maybe the best. As in, like, if you play like any character can use it on pretty much like unless you like Callie, you don't want to build that obviously. Like you want to build it on auto attack. Because anyone that has like really high attack speed, you don't want to build Bumba's Hammer on. It's kind of a waste. Bumba's Hammer is best when you're auto canceling, and it's really good at that. Like Tsukiyomi is sick with Bumba's Hammer. Tanks are insane with this item. So if you're playing any tank jungler, you 100% should be looking to go Bumba's Hammer in late game. I don't care what you're playing. Athena, Ymir. Maybe not Ymir. Ymir doesn't really get to auto attack that much, but even Ymir I feel like would best. But I think Ymir like kind of uses either jungle really well early. Okay, let's not say Ymir. Like Athena, Kebrakan, Guan Yu, Odin. Like Osiris is best late game with this item, but you are like giving losing a little bit of early game power if you go Bimbas. Um. Oh, Nike also is good with mannequin by the way. Just noticed. Like Gilgamesh is good with Bimbas. Even Erlang, if you do go Bimbas, he is completely fine with Bimbas Hammer. Um, so if you can get that, it's really good, but it doesn't have the best early game, which is why you don't see it as much. But it's getting buffed, so you'll see you'll see a bit build a bit more. And obviously 20% cooldown is amazing. You don't have to worry about that. The only problem is like it gives 20% cooldown, but you're playing characters that want to build cooldown anyway. So it's like really hard to like justify going Jotun's early game and then overcapping and cooldown and selling it later. But it's kind of like a too specific stuff. But yeah, every auto attack you hit after an ability, you get a heal, you heal HP and mana, and you reduce your cooldowns by 1 second, I think. Yeah, so it's really good. Bumba Spear. So there's like three options here that are really good for DPSing objectives, and I think these are what they excel at: Mannequin Mace, Save the Jungle, and Bumba Spear. Most likely, you shouldn't be building Bumba Spear, I would say, unless you're playing you're like feel like you're struggling killing objectives, or you're playing a character that really wants to kill objectives faster. You like but I don't really feel like it's your job to like as a jungler mainly to try and do that. Like I wouldn't say any like casual players should try to do that. But again, this item is really good on magicals. Okay, this is the in my opinion the one you would go in magicals. It gives 10% pen, gives a lot of power, gives cooldown. Brimmer's Hammer is fine, but you don't really auto attack that much with magicals. And this gives you, like you can see, your abilities deal plus 50% damage against jungle, camp structures, and bosses. So FG does count. So that's why I think this is the best if you're a magical trend DPS objectives. And if you have like I guess high attack speed and low damage, I don't know who would have that really, like good auto testing but not a lot of power. You'd go that. But I would say most of the time, if you go in Bumbas, you're going for Bumbas Hammer, but Bumbas Spear is still a good option if you're magical, especially. It's not a bad item. If you feel like, let's say you're playing a god that's like, I'm not really gonna auto attack that much this game. Like I'd say Serket, even though she should be good with Bumbas Hammer, you don't really get to auto attack that much late game. Maybe Bumbas Spear is just better. It still gives like 10% pen, 10% cooldown, a lot of power. So something to keep in mind. Anyways, it's not a bad item. I think maybe like one more buff and it's really there, but it's really good at DPSing objectives. Like I think it could be like an SPL strat at some point where people just get Bumbas Spear or Shear of the Jungle and just trying to DPS FG. So this is the other one. This also gives you increased damage to objectives. I think 30%, yeah, 30% more damage to jungle bosses. So that helps a lot as well. I've built that a couple times. I really love the passive. The passive is like, it's like I don't know how good it is. It's just like it's really good, but how do you use it? Like the ability to see any word. Like you have the only problem is you have to physically walk there. So let's say you kill blue buff around FG. Now you're trying to get some vision. You want to get all the words. You don't get the vision there. You just can't it's as if you sentry then lost a sentry while you're walking. So you're there for 20 seconds and you can just go kill the words around. It's just most of the time it's like you're a jungler, you can't really run around and hitting wards. You need your team with you. But it's a good item. I've been kind of building it more because I'm just bored of the time. This item only really gives stats. You just look at it: power, protection, attack speed, and stats. Like you just get better power and better prots. It's not a bad item, but this is probably like the most default jungle item. Late game, you're just getting stats. You're just getting a bit of everything, and you're happy. And this one actually has a passive that you can kind of use, which is why I prefer building it. It's kind of more fun. Again, if you feel like you're struggling with FG DPS and you're like, we want to just burst this FG, like they can't do anything, you can just go for these two or Mannequin Mace as well. They're the best at that. They really excel at DPSing objectives. But these are like the more team fight oriented starter items in my opinion. Like this just gives you better stats overall. I mean, I guess you could say this for team fight because you're getting the passive. I would say like I'm mostly gonna build Seer because I like having that effect that I can use at least. Like I is just Protector is like nothing, you know. Unless you're playing a god like Achilles, you'd probably excel with Protector of the Jungle if you didn't go Bumbas, because he really does well with you know, stacks up with this too. If you're playing like a bruisery god, this is probably the best because you're getting a lot of like the 15 power and 12% protection. They're both doing something, so maybe you're getting like a lot of stats. So you kind of have to like figure that out yourself. It's like how much stats am I really getting from this? But for me, I'm just gonna go Seer as much as I can. You know, a little bit extra FG DPS, some cool vision and stuff. You know, I like it. Let's go to these two. These are like kind of the. This is definitely fun. I'm convinced this item sucks, but I've every time I use it, and I just don't feel like it's doing anything. You know, like I never feel like, okay, you're playing a character that does a lot of that. You auto attack, right? You're playing like Kali or Erlang. You're already one shotting people when you're getting to hit them. Like, is this dot really gonna do anything? You know, that's kind of my problem with it. But again, if I felt like I want to kill it, like I went Erlang Mannequin Scepter early game, and I'm like, want to do objectives this game, like want to just get objectives quick, because Hidden Blade isn't really that good on him. I mean, it is, but it's just you have your twos on a really long cooldown, so that's why I don't think it's that good. Then I'm gonna get Mace and like, oh, let's just try to do object. Let's just do FG. It does a lot of damage to FG. You can see 60 physical damage over 2 seconds and times that by 4 on buses. So it's not bad. It's really good at FG DPS, but I just don't feel like it's worth it. I would genuinely rather have Magi's, like, and focus on the team fights, or like rather have an Oboe because I feel like it's just a better item. Might be wrong on the Oboe, but it just feels better. Like this item doesn't feel that good, basically. But if you again you're trying to get focus on getting the fight like EFG, and you're struggling, you don't have a comp that's particularly good for you. Your AC doesn't have crit, for example. You know, these are your options. Just keep them in mind. Like, you these. Sorry, I don't know why I should have kept them all on the same side, but yeah, like just kind of keep it flexible. If you feel like you wanna, if you're like you wanna be killing objectives, just consider Brumbus, Seer of the Jungle, and Mannequin Mace. Even if you like wanted to get these, obviously there's some exceptions. Like I'm not gonna go Mannequin Mace on Nike because it's not even good in team fights. Or like in Erlang, at least you can use that in team fights. Loki, you're not gonna go Mannequin Mace. You're still gonna go Hidden Blade. Camazot, you're gonna go Hidden Blade. So Hidden Blade is probably the best overall starter item. Hard to tell. It's between Hidden Blade and Brumbus Hammer, I would say. It just depends on the character, but this is so strong. Like, you do 20% of someone's maximum HP as physical damage. Keep in mind, as physical damage, not true damage, so, you know, it's not actually going to be 20%. There's, like, procs and stuff. But yeah, you just use Loki too on a carry late game, and they lose like 30% of their HP instantly, and you can't juke it, and you just stealth, use your 2 and run away, and it's really annoying. Same with Nike, you can just one someone and just back out. Anyone that can use that, Chemazot, you know, you can one people or 2 them. I'd say 1 is easier because it's you're less stuck in animation in case someone goes on you. But yeah, you get the idea. Hidden Blade is pretty nice. I wouldn't say it's like I say it's OP on some characters like Loki if you do get away with it, but then you're also getting Mannequin Scepter early game, which isn't the best on him. So you kind of have to decide that for yourself as well. I would say again, if you are a new player, I want to make sure that if you're a new player, I would just go Bumbus and Bumbus Hammer every game. It's just the default. It's safer. There's less problems with it. It's like you're gonna have better sustain and stuff. If you're a bit more advanced player, like you're kind of like, you know, Diamond Masters, you know, maybe Plat as well. You know, you can experiment with yourself. I use pretty safe as well. You're just gonna have to watch out for your mana a little bit more in the jungle and health. But I's never gonna feel bad. Mannequin's gonna feel bad if you're buying the wrong character to try. I don't recommend building it. I would say even if you're an auto attacker and you don't know what to build, just build I. Even if you like playing Kali for the first time or Erlang, I would just say go I. Don't like, I wouldn't go Bumbas on Kali, but you know. Don't, I wouldn't say like, honestly, you know what, wait, maybe Rumba Spear is sick on Kali. Nah, it's not. If it gave attack speed, it would. So my phone is ringing, but anyways, what's up? Sorry. Sorry, I didn't want it to be in the recording, but I guess, but whatever. I'm ending it now anyways. I might make more detailed guides soon. Maybe like how to actually start in the game, what do you want to do? And then maybe character specific ones and what starter you want to build specifically, like, well, when do you build this on Kali and this on Kali on Erlang, and you know, stuff like that. But anyways, guys, I'll see you later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.